Morning. Hair's all over the place. I know that shocks you. John, hear you there. Thanks for dropping by. Sorry about 9:06. I was loading things. And we got a lot to get into this morning in hour number one before the power hour takes over in hour number two. And I'm just going to mash my hair down and try and get it underneath the headset. Okay. So it is Thursday Thoughts as we get you closer and closer and closer to the World Cup coming up next week. I don't know if you've heard of this. But this morning, we're going to take the tour, get you into a couple of different things. We had matches around the planet last night and yesterday afternoon. We'll get you in the highlights of that just to kind of let you know what's going on. Then we got, in addition to it, a really cool moment from opening kickoff. And it was a really cool moment for a city, a region, and the sport. And so we'll have that coming up here in just a little bit. Getting closer to matches in Chicago and Brazil. We're going to hear from the reuniting of Triple Espresso for the assembled media via the internets and all that kind of stuff, conference calls in Brazil yesterday. It kind of was what you imagine it was when three friends get together in the first time in a long time, because they are the three best friends that anyone could have. And so it showed in the conference call yesterday. And so we've got a little bit of that. And it is also we're going to hear from Sergino Dest and get his thoughts about getting ready and this particular cycle and getting ready and going to Chicago and what it's like to represent your country. We're going to hear a little bit of that in hour number one. I'm trying to see what else we're missing. We'll get a UPSL update in, let you know about your schedule upcoming there, thanks to our friends at ASMG. We get you into the window for Atlanta Soccer Tonight, where Jason goes back and looks at the original thoughts of having Atlanta as a part of a World Cup bid in 1994. And so we'll have a little bit of that for you. If you missed it, you can read the full story at soccerdownhere.net. You can go back and listen to the yesterday's Atlanta Soccer Tonight, however you consume it, and you can do that live on YouTube, 92.9 The Game, Odyssey app, Podcatcher later, all of that stuff. So that's all there as a piece of hour number one. Plus, we do have some AM news, and it's pretty blank and silly, but once again, no real surprise. And so we'll get into that and another couple of headlines as we go here on the morning show. Then hour number two is Thursday, is what Thursday always is. It's the Power Hour. Our buddy from FuboTV live from Lima, Peru. It's Nino Torres going fully loaded. He has his stories. He has his thoughts. And I don't know what they are until he sends them. And then we go into those topics. And we do have World Cup Chronicles, and he has promised, for those of you that pay attention on a weekly basis, that he will have good news coming up this week and heading into the tournament. And then our buddy Nico Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart is going to wrap things up, take his tour about what's going on around the planet, news in Major League Soccer, all the things, and get you ready for the day. Then we'll tease what's happening tonight, get you ready for all of that, and what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, all your gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and that's a show. So that's today. Tomorrow, once again, we are getting one day closer to this tournament that is a big deal. See if we can catch up with our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring, see where Greg Garza is and where he's conquering the planet, and our friends from Apple TV at 10 o'clock being the base of it all. And then we'll get you ready with friendlies and news and notes and all that kind of stuff. We'll have that for you. Reminder, it's going to be very, very busy time for us Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we're going to start our day at noon at NoFo Gainesville, and we're going to see everybody up there. Jason and I will be up there for you because Maddie will be in Chicago. I believe her flight is in the air now. And so she is heading toward the last friendly for the U.S. up against Germany. She's going to be covering that for SDH this weekend, so she'll be up there for that. And we'll get reports from her during the weekend. But Jason and I will be Saturday. We will be at NoFo Gainesville for a couple of hours starting about noon. Then I will come back down and be a part of the Decatur FC broadcast in the WPSL with Drew Dickinson. And Jason then goes to Athens because the twos are up and running. And so you'll get that on the SDH network as well in MLS Next Pro. So Saturday starts at NoFo Gainesville. We'll be there for that. Then from there, we go to Athens if you're Jason, Decatur FC if you're me, and then Sunday it is NoFo coming where we catch up with folks, and then I head from there to Woodstock for Georgia Impact in the UPSL, and so we'll keep an eye on all that stuff. So very, very cool stuff there. Excuse me, this weekend for us across the board, and it is the wide-ranging nature of the whole thing. So very, very busy times. Great to catch up with our friends at NoFo in Gainesville and coming on Saturday and Sunday, where we are going to unleash the beer. Soccer Down Here Lager out in cans. This is not quite opening kickoff material, but this is just so you know. It is Soccer Down Here Lager out in cans at NoFo, and that gets unleashed this weekend. I'm getting a six-pack. I'm not necessarily going to consume it, mind you, but I am going to, poke holes in the bottom, and it'll be here in the office for those of you that want to see what the cans look like. And you can go, I think, on Instagram. I think they're available, and you can see what the cans look like for SDH Lager. So very, very cool stuff there. And also, like I said, we got stuff. We got a lot of stuff to get into, and we also know whatever's on your mind as well is rocking and rolling this morning. All right, opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Starting your day with the most important stories in the game, the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events in Atlanta, all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy-bodied, notes of walnut, and semi-sweet chocolate, rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. We mentioned a couple minutes ago about a very cool moment that happened yesterday, and it happened in Greenville. And it was, for the sport, I think it's safe to say it was a really cool moment because it once again shows commitment, it shows the growth, it shows all of the aspects as the game itself continues to grow here. And normally we would sit there and say, okay, well, yeah, in the southeastern United States, but I think we're well past that now. It is where the game continues to grow regardless of location. And last night it was a moment for Greenville Triumph that they have been discussing for a long time, and it finally came to the fore as GE Vernova Field is now up and running for Greenville Triumph in the Greenville, the Greenville suburb of Malden. So southeast. If you're thinking of Greenville on the whole, if you have Greenville on a map, Malden would be kind of like in the southeast corner. And so they've been working on building. They've been trying to build the barn for a long time. And GE Vernova Park is now officially official. It was sold out last night. We tip our collective hat to you, Greenville Triumph fan, for making it happen. Here was part of the reports on the evening, courtesy of our friends at WSPA-TV in Greenville. And technically, since it's a tri-market, I have to go Greenville, Spartanburg, Asheville. Channel 7, the CBS affiliate up there, had their coverage of a very, very big night for the sport of soccer here in the U.S.
News at 10 before we get to those stories. Tonight was a major milestone for soccer fans across the upstate.
Greenville Triumph played their first game in a brand new stadium after a night of festivities. Lauren Miller has more.
Well, this has been years in the making here at GE Vernova Park for the Greenville Triumph. And what better way to celebrate than a sold-out game for their inaugural match? Before kickoff, fans took part in Fan Fest at Bridgeway Station.
5,000 tickets have been sold, so at least 5,000 people, right?
Featuring live entertainment, food, family activities, and opportunities to meet members of the team.
It was crazy. I mean, I just went through everybody. I had to push my way through, but I got it, so yeah.
One of the featured attractions was a Legacy of Champions photo experience.
We have an exciting replica here, actually gifted to us temporarily by one of our owners, Ronaldinho, who's a Brazilian superstar, one of the top players of all time.
Which included several major soccer trophies on display.
We were a finalist in 2019, and then we did win the league championship in 2020, and again, 2021 as a finalist for the championship there as well. So in 8 years, we've had a very good run.
Organizers say the goal was to create an experience that brings the entire community together.
We went to an event that they sponsored out at GE, and when we saw it pop up, we were like, we're there for the first game.
Before fans headed into the new stadium.
It seems small, where you'll be able to like really enjoy the game and see everything, but big enough where it feels like an actual soccer match and not like a high school thing.
Greenville Triumph's Director of Business Administration, Paul Pillsbury, told us what the new stadium means to the players.
They are beyond excited to have a place to call their own. We have 3 players that have been with us since the very beginning, and all 3 of them have been waiting a long time to be able to walk their team through the tunnel.
Well, if you missed Wednesday night's game, the Triumph will play again at home on June 10th. At GE Vernova Park, Lauren Miller, 7 News.
Big night for the sport. Big night for the sport in Greenville, obviously. Big night for the sport here in the southeastern United States, obviously. But it's a big night overall. And don't let anybody tell you any different. Because once again, you continue to see how investment and sticking with it and staying with the product and staying there and being a part of the fabric of a community lets you have a moment like you had last night in Greenville. Greenville wins. That's always, if you're a Greenville Triumph supporter, that's always a good thing. But to have spent all of this time, and we are efforting guests from Greenville to discuss this growth to get to this point. So, of course, we thought about it yesterday, we meaning me. I'm like, hey, can we have somebody on next couple of days knowing that today is swamped? So we're efforting word out of Greenville and the Triumph just to let everybody kind of know about this ride finally coming to this point. And now you're seeing, once again, the sport continuing to grow here in the United States, and it just happens to be the most recent newsy example happens to be in Greenville. GE Vernova Park online, Triumph get the win. USL League One, once again, you have another fantastic stadium to look at and to embrace and to continue to add to the legacy that is being built here with the sport. Like I said, Southeast got a lot to say, sports got a lot to say, and you're having this kind of activity last night. So with that win, Greenville now is getting closer and closer to the gaggle that is, they're 4 points out of a playoff spot right now. And legitimately, if you look at Greenville in 14th and Fort Wayne in 6th, that's 9 teams separated by 6 points. Yes, I know we're only in like match week 9 through 11, or if you're Sarasota, 13. But right now, Greenville's got their new barn. Things are kind of settled. They can go into, they can go into their new vibe and everything. But right now, 6 to 14 separated by 6 points early on in the season here. Basically, you're at the 1/3 mark and you're dealing with the Prinks Cup, which I've never seen a Prinks, but we'll see. So big night for Greenville, big night for the sport. And if you are in the area, recommended to go just to kind of get the vibe of the whole experience. So now GE Vernova Park up and running in Malden, South Carolina. So very, very cool stuff there. That is opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. I'm not a coffee person, but I have mine. You have yours, and recommended Black Pitch Coffee. Starting your day with the most important stories in the game, the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy-bodied, notes of walnut, semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Okay. And I'm going to kind of get into like news here before we get into highlights from last night, getting you ready for today. We'll have gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and your what to watch at the end of the show, because this is going to be pretty stacked, I'm guessing, over the next 40 minutes before we start the run with our buddy Nino Torres from FuboTV and Nico Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart. Sam Lee at the Athletic with this particular gem. Paragraph. Manchester City are considering legal action after Real Madrid president candidate Enrique Riquelme claimed he will sign Erling Haaland if he wins the upcoming elections. Riquelme, a 37-year-old renewable energy entrepreneur, announced on Wednesday evening that the Norway international would be his star signing should he oust longtime incumbent Florentino Perez. Riquelme told El Hormiguero, a Spanish TV talk show on Antena 3, shortly after producing a Madrid shirt with a Holland 9 on the back, Holland has a release clause and wants to join Real Madrid. That's what he said on the air. Riquelme went on to say he would refund the membership fees for all of Real Madrid's 100,000 members next season should he fail to deliver on his promise to sign the striker, whose current contract, signed in January, ties him to Manchester City until 2034. Now, remember what we always say in these situations, that when you sign someone to a long-term deal, it is about controlling the asset. At the same time, this way you can also budget the money that you've invested over X amount of years. Even if there was the idea of Erling Haaland and Real Madrid, you don't go on the air and say, I'm going to get him. That was a direct quote. I'm going to get him. Haaland's team moved quickly to distance themselves from Riquelme's claims, saying they were, quote, all very entertaining, but not true, before City announced their intention to potentially take things further. So, a club spokesperson said, and I quote, the stories which have emerged from Spain regarding the future of Erling Haaland are untrue. There is no chance of this happening, and there is no contractual clause to enable it. We are considering legal action for the use of our player image in this context. Riquelme also stated that Rodri would also move to the Bernabeu if he wins. Spain international is out of contract at the Etihad at the end of next season, but City's position has consistently been they have no intention to sell him this summer. Prior to Wednesday night, Riquelme had previously made other campaign promises, announcing former Madrid players Raul and Fernando Hierro as part of his would-be team. Perez, 79, has been the club's president since 2000 and is considered a heavy favorite to remain in the post. Wednesday evening, in a rival announcement, he confirmed, as first reported by The Athletic, that Jose Mourinho will be his manager if he wins the election. Also announced Ibrahima Konate will join as a free following his exit from Liverpool if he's successful, while Inter Milan's Denzel Dumfries is also an expected arrival. All right, so let's just compare these two here for a second. So, Florentino Perez, who is more than happy to have an hour 15, hour 20, hour 40 self-called press conference and basically rail on anything and everything, is the voice of reason in this situation. He's the one who's just kind of sitting there going, Konate, yeah. Dumfries, yeah, we'll work on that. Jose Mourinho, yes, he'll be our manager, if I'm elected. Enrique Riquelme, at 37, renewable energy entrepreneur, is basically saying, yeah, we're bringing in Erling Haaland and Rodri. So, Ropes, to your point, let's see if one of these actually does exist. Ropes in the Twitch pitch mentioned a release clause. So, valid halfway through the contract, according to Madrid Zone. The player always wanted to join Real Madrid, according to Diario AS. And so Diario AS is sitting there saying, yeah, you know what? Advance of the Riquelme interview, denials are part of the game, and they're spending a lot of coverage getting ready for the Alps and everything there. So I'm trying to see if we can find just an old release clause, not just, not anything new, mind you, but if there is a release clause of any degree, any thought whatsoever. And this is how much of an impact this has had, where the picture from Antenna 3 is a screen cap. And he's flashing that. He's just flashing that jersey. He's absolutely flashing it. So you're looking at the seriousness factor, all those things. I'm scanning an article, the history between Real Madrid and Holland, and Would Holland work with Mbappe and Vinicius Jr.? I'm not so sure. Riquelme's chances of winning, I would say they're probably very, very slight. And when you have 5 writers, 5 dedicated to a story, Dermot Corrigan, Mario Cartagena, Guillermo Rai, Anantajita Raguraman, and David Ornstein. Literally, that's what you've got. You had 5 people working on this particular story. 5. And I'm trying to see if there's anything resembling a release clause that is posted anywhere, any place. Because one time I had heard about one, and the number was astronomical, and it was like a couple of years ago. Okay, so this is old. So, new Manchester City signing Erling Haaland has 2 exit clauses set at €200 million and €175 million. This is his old contract. So, the old contract, and at the time he signed, Real Madrid reportedly in talks. They backed off as they wanted to prioritize Kylian Mbappe. So, currently satisfied, and this is how old this is, satisfied with Benzema, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo developing further. But in his first contract, the release clauses were 200 and 175. So that was, like I said, that was the first deal when he walked in the door. So Lord knows what it is now. Ropes to your point. So keep an eye on this. And I say it, that way for the sheer note of the Real Madrid elections and the idea of Riquelme bringing in Rodri, which is more of a sound thought, and Erling Haaland, and the guy goes on a television talk show with a manufactured Haaland jersey with a 9 on the back. Literally, that's what he does. I'm trying to all right. Story time with John. So, I don't know how many of you, when you were in, say, school, elementary school, high school, what have you, you wanted to run for office, class treasurer, class president, SGA stuff, where at the time you thought it was a really cool thing to do. You're like, yeah, I think I'll run for class president. Yeah, I'll run for vice president. I'll run for treasurer. I'll run for, parliamentarian or whatever. I was in elementary school, and it was, might have been 6th grade, and I ran for class president. I didn't have a chance in hell of winning. And literally it was because a couple of friends at the time had goaded me into it at my elementary school. And they were like, yeah, go ahead and run against, so-and-so. And so I was thinking, hey, these guys, they had my back. But they in reality, it's the clicks and everything. They sit there and they take the sucker, and they sit there, and the sucker, meaning me, was thinking it was a way to get accepted into the larger cliques. And so I decided to run for class president. I got smoked. I mean, I only got like 3 votes, or 2 actually. I take it back, 2 votes. Mine and someone who felt sorry for me. You're supposed to give. Yeah, it is the 1-2 schoolhouse. Absolutely, David. It is. It was the wooden schoolhouse, and I wore brown slacks with beaten up boots and the suspenders and the massively thick collared shirt. I was Alonzo in Little House on the Prairie. That's basically what I was wearing. That's how long ago we're talking here. And so, yeah, the suckers that were the in click, they're like, yeah, go ahead and run. You know, hey, I get in with those kids. And so I run. I get smoked. I got 2 votes, one with me and one for somebody who felt sorry for me. But you're supposed to give speeches. And you give speeches to to all of the voting all of the voting public. And you sit there and you come up with a speech. And I didn't know what the hell I was going to be talking about. So I end up making promises about, snack machines and drink machines and all this stuff that I had no chance in hell of delivering on, but sure as hell wanted to talk about. If it was me, I'd want, drink machine, snack machine, that kind of stuff in the halls. So if anybody wanted to get one, then we could do it. Yeah, no chance in hell of that ever happening. And so I finish it up because I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. And I just said, and I'm going to give so-and-so a run for her money. And I did the Khrushchev thing where I sit there and I pounded the lectern, and that fired everybody up. The person I was going up against for class president, she was in the in click. She was going to win, and there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But this to me sounds like if I was Riquelme going up in that election, it's those kinds of promises that you sit there and you're going to go, I'm going to say this stuff to get elected. Not going to happen, maybe. Really, probably. Because if the old release clause for Erling Haaland is in fact what it is, which is probably a shit ton more. I just got the E rating this morning for 200 million euro. Yeah, that there's no chance in hell of this happening. But you're going to say whatever you're going to say to get elected. And that's what Riquelme seems to be doing. I think he knows that Florentino Perez is going to win this election. So you sit there and you just go off the rails by saying something so far off the beaten track. Maybe that'll get me some votes. Maybe that'll turn this thing upside down. Maybe it won't. Maybe you'll get the threatening of a lawsuit from Manchester City by saying something like that. I mean, I don't think Riquelme really gives an ish if he gets sued by saying that, yeah, I'm going to bring in Erling Haaland, but it massively can smack of tampering, and if you get a good judge, so on and so forth. So Riquelme, I think, is in that stage of saying ish just to get elected. And so, yes, it reminded me of my 6th grade election when I lost for class president in SGA at my elementary school. And I really wished that maybe back then, if I'd had somebody like Nelly to perhaps run a little interference, maybe I would have won. Maybe my career trajectory would have been a little different. Would not have been elected in 7th grade because I would not have had her as a part of my my ops campaign. But anyway, yeah. So Riquelme sounds like me. Yeah, and I thought that he did ropes. Let's see, Erling Haaland, father. So, yeah, it just sounded a lot like me in 6th grade. The more that I read about it, it's like, yeah, you're going to say whatever you're going to say to get elected. No, he did not. Bryn, Nottingham Forest, Leeds, Manchester City, Bryn, Russelland, Bryn 3, and Russelland from 1989 to 2013. So that was the rundown of the career of Alfie Haaland. And apparently the grandfather just looks like Erling Haaland, but a lot further along. So I'm trying to see if there's a reference in there somewhere, but no, I guess it's just general fandom, I guess. But Alfie did not. Alfie played for Manchester City, did not play for Real Madrid. So there might have been just some fandom there. But yeah, so Riquelme to me just kind of reminds me of me in 6th grade. Didn't get elected. How'd I turn out? So there you go. That was story time with John, just because it triggered something in my brain, and I was like, yeah, that's off the rails. So that was probably one of the bigger stories of the yesterday. So let's get us into where we are today and get you ready for anything and everything going on that is here and off and running. So yesterday we had a couple of friendlies, and it was an interesting one that was last night in Provo, Utah. On the soccer stadium, on campus at BYU, it was Korea Republic and El Salvador. Packed house, understandably so. I think the BYU soccer stadium, let me see how much it seats here. BYU soccer stadium. It might have been like 3,000. South Field is listed as the absolute, let's see, info. I don't want fan behavior. I just want capacity. That's all I want. Soccer facilities. So South Field. So, yes, okay, that's a nice picture. Let's see. Top venue in college women's soccer, 2019, 21, and 22. So you're looking in the neighborhood of 6,000. So permanent grandstand, 20 rows, accommodating 4,200. Grandstand 26 feet high, 216 feet across, 65 feet deep, replaced and a concrete pad installed under the press tent. So you're looking at 4,200. And it was 4,200 and then some. So you're probably saying just under 5,000 last night in Provo, Utah. So Provo, Utah hosted last night Korea Republic and El Salvador, and it came down to a moment early in the second half. Here's the highlight from our friends at BYU TV, Greg Wrubell and our friend Landon Southwick on the call as Korea Republic takes on El Salvador.
Hwang In-bom, Lee Dong-kyung. It's Lee Dong-kyung, it's a goal! And what a strike, it may have taken a touch. It comes inside the near post. And it's 1-0 for Korea Republic off the free kick.
What a free kick, what a goal there as he bent that one in. You could see it perfectly from our vantage point over here. Bending that one up and over, and it'll be interesting to see the replay and what happened there as we'll get a look at this. Comes up and around and just gets by that wall. This is going to be the better angle. No deflection, I think, just bent it in between two heads. And what a goal there for Korea to take the 1-0 lead.
Christian Martinez leapt, and it doesn't appear that it caught it with the head. It finds the back of the net in the 57th. And Korea Republic opens the account off the boots of Lee Dong-kyung.
There you go. There's your highlight. 1-0 the final. Sonny played the last 30, more like 25. But that was the rundown last night in Provo, Utah. Not to be outdone, there were another couple of matches that we wanted to kind of let you get a peek in. And one had one moment. And it was a moment that Jason kind of focused on in opening kickoff. And that you can get that newsletter by subscribing over at soccerdownhere.net. And what you can do is you sit there, you go to the website, main page, scroll down a little bit, there's a box. And you can get the opening kickoff newsletter where it's Jason's tour of everything that is going around the world that we know. And so it was last night you had a moment for Anis Haj Musa. And it was yesterday afternoon, our time, but night side for Algeria. And it was at his home ground because he plays at Feyenoord. So Algeria and the Netherlands, they were goalless for a real long time until this moment, courtesy of our friends who had this one. It was, Tuda NA had this one, and here is the English feed from Tuda NA for Netherlands and Algeria yesterday afternoon.
The exercise because it gives you room and time to think carefully about that shot. What a beauty! What a beauty! What a beauty! Goal! Great goal by Algeria. What a tremendous shot you just gave us, Anna. What a great goal with your left foot. Impossible for the goalkeeper. Then Algeria. Yes, Algeria leads the Netherlands in the 86. Won by Hugo Salcedo. And it is, we could say, a perfectly prepared goal from another match. The freedom he finds and the naturalness he has to go down the wing. but always internalize it. Because he is going to try to accommodate that dominant left foot. The footballer, we already said, feels at home, because this is really the stage where he plays with the Feyenoord team. They're not.
Jonathan Beck on the call on the English language side of Tudene. So the one goal there. And for Anis Haj Musa, first goal for Algeria, scored where he plays his competitive football at Feyenoord against one of the tournament favorites. 86th minute, gets the Duke in a friendly. And so you get your first international goal in a World Cup warm-up where you play your professional ball. And it was a really cool moment there when it came to the Netherlands and Algeria yesterday. Then you had Panama and the Dominican Republic. This game was off the rails. So if you had the chance to catch up with this one was crazy. Here's your proof, because there's a boatload of highlights, courtesy of our friends at TV Max.
Está atento, ¿ah? Señor. Musiquita en el medio tiempo.
Aquí es. Hacia adelante, robó Yanis. Puede probar de larga distancia, dejó de tacón. Martínez le lloraba la pelota, balón suelto. Ahí está. Impacta Tomás. Para Blackman, marca cercana. Muy pegado a él está Griffith. Prefiere la opción para que ejecute ahora Giovanni Ramos. Avanza Ramos junto a César Yanis. Pierde la pelota con algo de fortuna. Pedía mano. Dice que juegue, se desliza de larga distancia. El remate.
Y ahora encuentra el descuento en la República Dominicana.
Sí, una diagonal matona que se llama, como todo delantero hace, buscarle, ganarle la espalda a los centrales. De hecho, hablábamos
en el terreno de juego y el otro que empezó un poquito frío.
Claro. Prepárate para creer. Camisetas y artículos oficiales desde $9.95 más 25 stickers en El Rey, Hiperrey, Romero, Mr. Precio, Metroplus, Farma Ahorro y SAS.
Hacia adelante para Waterman. El trazo fue quirúrgico. Aparece Waterman. Limpia la cocina. Ahí está. Entonces John Gunn tiró el trazo largo.
See, I told you there's a lot of fun there. And like I said, and this is what I'll do occasionally. We'll sit there. We'll have a little bit of fun. TV Max went nuts last night. It was a 6-goal game, by the way. By the time it was done, Panama won it 4-2. And just to give you an idea as to how back and forth it was at the Estadio Ramón Fernández with an attendance of 22,000 announced. Panama scores in the 16th. Then they score in the 44th. So they're up 2-0. Dominican Republic scores in the 47th. It's 2-1. Panama scores 57th with Waterman, and it's now 3-1. Hapa scores for the Dominican Republic in the 67th. It's 3-2. And then Barea scores in the 89th. 2-0 at the break, 4-2 your final. And at 22,000, it was craziness with Panama and the Dominican Republic. So very, very cool stuff there. And thanks to our friends at TV Max for that one. So we actually do have lineups. So Thomas Christensen gets the win for his side, coming out in the 5-4-1. And you had, let's see, so friendly so far. Panama lost to Brazil 6-2 last time out. They have split with South Africa. They had a win and a draw. Then they lose to Mexico. And that got them to last night on the win against the Dominican Republic. So, yeah, as you know, we kind of go a little bit. We're gonna have some fun. And it was something that Jason had said on the air that kind of triggered this thought pattern. If we can, and if we can find them, and if we don't get into any kind of trouble, what we're going to do, we're going to give you highlights in different languages. We're going to give you highlights in different languages just so you have, just so you kind of get to share the experience and hear the emotion from those announcers as just as much as you get to hear ours. So big win last night for Panama on a 6-goal thriller, and that gets us to where we are now. You end up with now Atlanta keeping an eye on things, at least from a U.S. men's national team perspective, heading to Chicago. Like I said, Maddie should be in the air now. Hopefully she's not running into the weather that I was keeping an eye on the Big 55 this morning. And it was Sergino Dest's turn to be in front of the microphones to discuss what this ride has been like coming from 2022 to 2026 and getting ready with these friendlies and getting ready to host a World Cup. Here is part of the conversation that Sergino Dest had with the assembled media, courtesy of our friends at U.S. Soccer and Veritone.
mean, it's the best feeling to have. For me personally, the 2022 World Cup was one of the best experiences in my life. I enjoyed every little part of it, outside and on the pitch. And now to have it on home soil, you know, with the US fans behind us, is something that will be even more special, I guess.
How much confidence does that give you scoring a goal in Charlotte against Senegal going into this tournament?
Yeah, I'm always pretty confident about my own abilities, to be honest. But yeah, this gives me an extra boost. You know, you're just more motivated, and you're happy, you know, that you scored and could help the team. But yeah, we just got to continue like this. You know, it's a great start that we won against Senegal. For me personally, the champions of Africa. And yeah, the next game is also going to be a really important test against Germany. But these are still friendlies, you know, so it's still different. And I mean, these are the type of games that you can try things out and you can make mistakes, and then we got to be ready for the real test, and that's the opening game in the World Cup.
Since you're somebody that's experienced both, what is the ramp up that goes from obviously these last couple friendlies, trying to get everything together to when the World Cup happens and you've got all the fans in the stadium? And how big is that difference? How big is that jump from these experiences?
To be honest, I was pretty surprised with the fans this time. You know, it was packed with all USA fans. So, I mean, we already started the right way. But yeah, friendlies are always friendlies. You know, even for the opponents, you don't know if they play with their starting 11, even with us. You know, like we're all trying to figure things out. And in a World Cup, you just have different type of pressure. You know, I feel like for everyone, and it's just a little bit more serious. So you can't compare it.
You can't compare it. Sergino Dest. And I apologize for the air conditioning that was right next to the interview location. But that's Sergino Dest getting ready for Chicago, and Matty Cruz is going to beat him there. Now in Brazil, 2 days away from the first of two matchups for the United States women's national team, as Emma Hayes specifically wanted to give an opportunity for her squad to understand what it's like to be in a position of being on the road and understanding all that pressure and making sure that it's all going to be there. And it's understand that Brazil is not going to be a quiet place for you. And so what Emma Hayes wanted to do is wanted to have two matches in a 4-day period, 6th and the 9th, to make sure that everything is, it's like, so how do you adjust? How do you look at how things are going to be? What's it going to look like for you in this kind of a pressure situation? So here we go with the return of Triple Espresso. And so Triple Espresso is back, and it is the first time in an incredibly long time. And so, okay, so apparently Nico is having to take care of some family things, and so Nico will be with us at 10:30 tomorrow. So that's the rundown of that. All right, so Nico is going to be, so Nico is going to be joining us at 10:30 tomorrow because of family stuff. Nothing major, but it's just something he's got to take care of. So Nico will be joining us tomorrow, so it'll be Thursdays with Nico on a Friday tomorrow. But with the return of Triple Espresso, first time in quite some time. So here is the return of Mallory Swanson. First USWNT training camp since October of 24, and first since the birth of her daughter in mid-November of last year. The inclusion of Swanson, this is from our friends at US Soccer. So has played 2 matches with Chicago Stars so far this season, means that they'll be on the same roster for the first time in almost 22 months. 24 Olympics, they combined for 10 goals, 5 assists. Swanson gets the game-winning goal in the Olympic final on her 100th cap. If Swanson plays June 6, 604 days between women's national team appearances. Currently 103 caps and 38 goals, 17th all-time on the goal-scoring list at the age of 28. Should she play in Sao Paulo, it would mark 665 days since the 2024 Olympic gold medal game. And they are back in Brazil for the first time since 2014 when they played there. Wow, that was, 12 years ago. So as they try to prepare once again for the FIFA Women's World Cup in 27 this fall at CONCACAF W in 26. USWNT has played Brazil 43 times. Just 6 of those matches have taken place in Brazil. 2 in 96, 2 in 97, 2 in 2014, 2 and 2 all-time against Brazil in Brazil. Played 4 matches in Brazil during the 2016 Olympics and 2 matches against teams other than Brazil at the tournament there in 96 during the early stages of prep getting ready for the Atlanta Olympics. More on that with our AST flashback here in the show. So as the questions were asked, with Triple Espresso being in one place, U.S. Soccer had the 3 of them sitting at a dais, at a table, answering questions from the assembled media. And admittedly, it was like the 3 friends had just gotten back together and got to share in an experience for the first time. And you could tell that they were really enjoying themselves and just having fun in a press conference situation. So first question, hey, what's it like to have everybody back? Once again, courtesy U.S. Soccer and Veritone.
Well, I'm very happy. I'm very excited to have them back, especially off the field. Their personalities are amazing to have in camp, and just like having my sisters back is amazing. And then on the field, I just feel like our connection is so good, and like, I don't know, being able to play with them again has been really good, and I'm excited to keep doing it.
So for the transition.
It's been good. I mean, I feel like the team has done a lot in the time that Mal and I have been gone, but they've done a really good job of making sure that we are getting caught up and feel like when we come back into camp, like we haven't missed a beat and can kind of just get back on the ground and flying. So it's been good. It's been fun. And obviously it's so good to be back with these girls.
And so the first voice you heard was Trinity Rodman. She was asked about the question, having everybody back. And so it was Trinity Rodman and Sophia Wilson. Second question that was brought up was to Mal, and it was, all right, so it's been an opportunity for U.S. Soccer to work on depth and work on those next rounds of faces that are going to be a part of what's going on with the WNT. Her perspective on what it's been like to see all of this depth come to the fore. Once again, U.S. Soccer and Veritone.
When I was out, I was obviously watching the games and keeping up and trying to not only just watch as a fan, but also as a player, and just see just like the tactical game of what we're trying to achieve in that certain game. And I think that there's been a lot of depth within that, and Emma's done a great job of getting so many different players on the same page with that. And then, yeah, for me, just like coming back in, it's been, this is day 2, I think. So it's been a lot, but it's been super exciting just to see everyone again and getting caught up to speed.
June 6th at Neo Química, which will be called Arena Itaquera during the World Cup, because you can't have your corporate names. It's got to be city names. So 5:30 on, what's today? Thursday. So 5:30 Saturday afternoon, TBS, Max, Telemundo, Universo, and Peacock. And then, since today is next Tuesday, 8:30 at night at the Arena Castelao in Fortaleza. Once again, both matches on Westwood 1 as well. First away matches for the U.S. since November of 24. Both are being played at venues hosting matches in the 27 World Cup. So your roster, Jane Campbell now in for Fallon Tulls-Joyce. So the roster for this go-round, Jane Campbell, Claudia Dickey, Mandy McGlynn. Those are your keepers. 8 defenders, Tierna Davidson, Emily Fox, Avery Patterson, Lily Real, Tara Rudd, Emily Sonnet, Giselle Thompson, Kennedy Wesley. Midfielders, Croy Bethune, Lindsay Heaps, Claire Hutton, Riley Jackson, who has 1 cap, and so she's chasing after more. Rose Lavelle, Olivia Moultrie, Jaden Shaw, Lily Johannes. Forwards, Michelle Cooper, Trinity Rodman, Emma Sears, Allie Sentner, Mallory Swanson, Alyssa Thompson, and Sophia Wilson. So that's the lineup for the USWNT as they are in Brazil. Since the start of 2020, USWNT has played 83 matches in the U.S., 32 outside the country, 7-6-6 at home, outscored opposition 250-27. Outside the U.S., 20-4-8, 62 goals scored, 20 allowed, goal margin of plus 42. So so far in 26, USA's combined 20 goals, 19 assists, 56% involved a player under the age of 25. Allie Sentner, Emma Sears, Trinity Rodman, Rylan Turner, Jamise Joseph, Croy Bethune, Jaden Shaw, Alyssa Thompson. 36 of the 50 goals in 2024 were scored or assisted by a player under 25. So Wilson's the 18th mother to play for the WNT. Mallory Swanson, if she gets game action in Brazil, she would be number 19. Third camp in a row, the WNT has 0 uncapped players on it, marking the only 3 rosters of Emma Hayes' tenure without uncapped players. 13 different players have scored for the U.S. so far in 2026. So that is what you've been staring at when it comes to the men's national team and the women's national team, and it's going to be very, very interesting times for the U.S. once again, from the WNT perspective. Emma Hayes has decided, all right, we're going into the Lions' Den. And, I mean, it makes perfect sense. Instead of sitting there and continuing to work and tweak and do this, you're going straight into the mouth of the lion. And it is challenging yourself, getting ready for 27. And so with these 2 matches, and obviously when Bart joins us on Monday, we'll have feedback on the first match and get you ready for match number 2. So we'll get you kind of prepped as we are today, and we'll probably end up hearing some more tomorrow in the MD-1. But getting you ready on a bunch of different levels for the WNT as they get ready for 27. Obviously, they've got to qualify through the CONCACAF W tournament this year. World is closing in, but it should be okay. And then you get to see in 2027 World Cup heading back to Brazil, and you'll see what it is for the United States here. Early returns in 26, getting ready for 27. Triple Espresso back online. So the machine has been the handyman has come in. The machine has been fixed, and Triple Espresso back up and running for the same roster in almost more than 18 months. So very, very cool stuff there. And on the men's side, obviously, we're going to continue to hear more from them as they are here in Fayetteville, practicing at the Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Center, then heading to Chicago and being there for the large crowd that's anticipated for the U.S. and Germany at Soldier Field. And we'll keep an eye on that one for you once again. We'll probably hear more from the WNT tomorrow in the MD-1, and same for the United States at MD-2 as they head north to Chicago. So we'll keep you posted on all of that stuff. So that's the early round of all the things. I'm going to save Jason's AST flashback for after Nino Torres, because it goes into the World Cup being here in this country. And if you missed it last night on AST, Jason goes into a deep dive as to the issues that were presented to Atlanta as Atlanta wanted to be a part of the hosting of the World Cup back in '94. Site surveys were not kind. And so we'll get into that with Jason and the AST flashback coming up at the bottom of the hour and beyond. But just to remind you once again, here's the rundown of AST. And it is a 3-dimensional experience this go-around, where Jason will have Atlanta Soccer Tonight. And just legitimately just do this. Set your notifications for AST. Set your notifications for Longshoe on the 280 and all the things that are there. So wherever you end up with anything on social media, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, just make sure that you are part of things at Soccer Down Here. You hit your notifications there at Longshoe, at OSG Nelson, at at Maddie's, and with Jarrett and Nick and everybody. Set your notifications for all of us on social media and for Soccer Down Here. and 92.9 The Game, because the AST airings are going to be different times. Most of the time, it's going to be fairly consistent at 10 o'clock to start. Sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's after. But just to be safe, lay out everything and make sure that you are ready to go whenever it pops up when you're going to have AST. And I don't know why my font isn't changing. My ID isn't changing. I have no idea. I've been trying to change it for the first hour. But tonight, to give you an example, it's going to be 92.9 The Game, Odyssey app, 92.9 The Game YouTube page. That is the consistent part of all of this. And also make sure that you like and follow our YouTube channel and the 92.9 The Game YouTube channel. A lot of stuff to talk about starting tonight at 10. A lot of matches. USMNT sound from this morning. Noel White's going to join for an intersection crossover. And so the first hour is going to be 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app. You're going to get the audio version. YouTube channel's up the entire time. So you get to interact with Jason that way on YouTube in the what's the Twitch pitch version of YouTube? We'll have to come up with that one for him. But you can continue your conversation with Jason the entire time on 92.9 The Game's YouTube channel. It's going to be there the entire time. It's up and running the entire time. 10 o'clock tonight, it is going to be Atlanta Soccer Tonight with Jason on 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app. Then it goes to stoppage time, where everything rolls over to the YouTube channel. So it's a three-dimensional beast when it comes to what's going on with Atlanta Soccer Tonight, stoppage time, 92.9 The Game, Odyssey app, YouTube channel at 92.9. What's going on here? So we're kind of like the lead-in. We're the lead-in for Jason, and so we go until 11 whenever. We're at various things during the day. Then Atlanta Soccer Tonight and stoppage time kick in mainly at 10 o'clock, sometimes at 9, sometimes after U.S. Soccer. There are going to be some really late, and I mean really late games that are going to be a part of everything when it comes to all of our coverage coming up here for this World Cup thing that I don't know, maybe you've heard about it. All right, it's that time, 10 o'clock, shortly thereafter. And what that means is that we go to Lima, Peru, and we check in with our favorite chef. And this man is cooking. He's cooking, and I mean that in the sense of both in the literal and in the figurative. He is our maestro of the desserts, and the man is in charge, and he's going to be hydrating as we go here this morning, because we need properly hydrated guests as we go fully loaded for another Thursday, which means we go to Lima, Peru, and check in with our man Nino Torres. Yellow, yellow, yellow. What is up on a Thursday?
Yellow, yellow, yellow. Soccer down here, fans, and absolutely fully loaded today. World Cup mode is absolutely on. Absolutely on. I only have 2 topics that are not related to World Cup.
Wow.
But I got this for you guys. Maybe you heard of this.
Oh, man.
Woo!
Oh.
Portugal is Seleção llegó, brother.
Oh,
We're
man.
on fire with Portugal. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped with Portugal this year. Hopefully. Please, soccer gods out there, you gotta listen to Nino. Because this is the last chance for Cristiano. Oh, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Oh, man. All right, well, actually, and you know what? Since the next time that you come back in, it legitimately is. We are actually in games at this point, because when you come back in, I think that we're like on match day 1, and we're talking about
match day 1. It's Mexico versus South Africa, 2 p.m. Eastern time.
And so literally this is like one of the last chances we get, since you only had 2 topics. We get to preview what else is going on and look at all the things. But you're heavy on Portugal, huh? You're heavy on Team CR41, huh?
Yes, sir. I was like not decided yet, and who's going to win this year? Because the last time around in June of 2022, I said Argentina's going to win it. Argentina's going to win this cup. I don't care what you say. I don't care what the odds are saying. I don't care about anybody else. Argentina's going to win. I was so certain that they were going to win. But this time, it took me a while. I mean, the candidates, it's just not clear. But my heart just chose Portugal to win it.
Yeah. I mean, think about this. And like I said, I haven't even looked at your topics yet because this is where my brain's going. The resident golden retriever host that I am. Literally, this is the last tournament and I mean, I never put it past folks, if they find like the cryogenic chambers, and the fountains.
The final chapter of this era.
And
of a beautiful era.
You think about all the stars that are going to be in their last tournament, where you're looking at not just CR41. It's Messi. It's Luka Modric.
Man.
It's Manuel Neuer.
Yeah.
I mean, this is some heavyweight-ish that we're dealing with here with all of these dudes. And I know that there are a couple that I've forgotten, but you have all of these dudes who have meant so much on so many different levels to their respective teams and their respective countries that this is the last dance for those four and a couple of others that have completely slipped my mind. But it's wild to think about the depth of the amazingness that we're going to be missing after this World Cup.
It's going to be an after and before this World Cup. It's definitely this is the last chapter of the glorious era that we have the privilege to live in, because it's really a privilege to live in this era, this last 15 years of competition. With the two kings, with massive games, with massive national teams. It's just been, I'm not gonna go into that greatest of all time era, but it was loaded, man. These last 15 years were loaded with stars and super teams and super coaches too. Because before this era, the coaches were overlooked. They were overlooked. It's all about the players, Maradona and la la la. But and we haven't get that the spot that they deserve in sport to the coaches. And now it's a different story. It's a different story now.
Crazy that to think about who is here and who we're going to be losing after this tournament. All right, so let me go into your topics because I know the balance of our time. We're going to be talking about the World Cup anyway. So, Okay, so here we go. And since we're talking World Cup, let's go to the World Cup stuff here, because I know that Universitario is trying to bring sexy back, Mr. Justin Timberlake. I see where you're going here.
Yeah.
Peru is part of the World Cup some way, somehow. Please explain yourself, sir.
First off, we are in the States right now. The national team is in the States right now, getting ready to be the sparring, right? The first act for these two teams. They're gonna play Haiti tomorrow,
right?
And they're gonna play Spain on Monday. So we're gonna be there. We're gonna be a part of the competition some way, somehow, getting the taste of facing teams that they are in the World Cup, not like us, right? They are in the World Cup, and this is the first official games for Mano Menezes, the new coach for the Peruvian national team. He called in several different names: fresh air, fresh blood, fresh legs for the team, fresh ideas, and we'll see. We'll see what's the blueprint of Mano Menezes with the Peruvian national team. So excited to see Haiti tomorrow. Hopefully, I get to see my boy Ricardo Ade, the center back from Liga de Quito. Fantastic player. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the Peruvian national team. But please, Spain, be kind with us. All right, Spain, don't. I mean, you don't have to show off, okay? If you score 3 goals, it's okay. It's fine. Hey, all right. I mean, take it easy, brother. All right. I don't know, go party or something the night before.
Well,
and
I mean,
just go easy on us. All right, go easy on us. I don't want to see up that 6-7-0 against Spain. I don't want to see that.
I mean,
but they probably put 4 on us.
They're going to be at New Stadium, And I mean, it's going to be crazy. But Haiti and Peru. You mentioned that one. Haiti is a dog in that one currently. Peru is a plus 129 and draws a plus 220, and Haiti is a plus 200. So
What's the odds on Spain on the Spain game? You got that one? No.
hang on. Let me get there.
It'd probably be like
9 gazillion. Not posted yet. So by the time
because it's Monday. Yeah.
So it'll be when it comes in off the board, we'll sit there and we'll know why. Yeah, Germany.
Hey, John, I mentioned the stadium. I just saw for the first time the SoFi Stadium. I haven't seen it before. It is just an absolutely masterpiece, man. It is just like it feels like we are in the I don't know, in year 3000 or something, man. I think the Supersonics are going to show up for that game. It's just crazy, man. It's just beautiful, stunning.
Hang on just a second. Let me see if the vote. All right, so because I wanted to bring this up since you mentioned SoFi. They were supposed to vote. Those stadium workers were supposed to vote on whether to authorize a strike with the World Cup around the corner. Yeah, Kevin Baxter at the LA Times. About 2,000 SoFi Stadium cooks, bartenders, and other hospitality workers set to vote on whether to authorize a strike with the World Cup kicking off next week. Unionized employees say negotiations with operator Legends Global have stalled as they push for pay above $30 an hour and job protections. Union is also challenging FIFA's World Cup accreditation rules, protesting demands for fingerprints and social security numbers.
Wow.
Yeah. So Unite Here Local 11 is in the process of trying to figure out the vote. It's a 2-day vote, and so that means that with the vote being the 2nd and the 3rd, we should have an answer today as to whether or not there's going to be a strike. Kurt Peterson, co-president of the union, said that if the strike is approved, then you're going to get picketers. You're going to get folks picketing outside of SoFi. Another round of bargaining scheduled for Wednesday. Not hopeful a resolution would be reached. That was not me. Legends' most recent proposals call for wage freezes for some workers, 25-cent hourly increases, cooks and dishwashers, according to the union. So we'll keep an eye on that. They want a 22-month contract that would expire just before the Summer Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. So we'll keep an eye on that, sir.
Wow. Well,
yes.
They're going to get the terms. They will get the terms. They're not going to,
yes.
They're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out.
One of the other issues at SoFi is the size of the pitch. Because they have had.
What is this? Is smaller?
Yeah, it's kind of crammed in, and I think they were debating, when they were initially. So now you're going to have me this time. So SoFi Soccer Stadium dimensions. So because it's supposed to be, it's a little more cramped when it comes to the soccer. Ideas and things. So
it's better, man. When it's actually when the pitch is smaller, I like it, man. I like it better when it's smaller. To be honest, for me, it gets the game more dynamic. It forces you to be faster. I like it, man. It's much more dynamic when the pitch is smaller, man.
True. I will grant you that. SoFi, one of 16 venues to host said tournament, expandable for 100,000 events. Teams, major events. So let me see if we have major events here, if they're going to list what's going on with FIFA. Started back in 22. So you get it like 60 to 72,000. It's here. I'm scanning quickly because I know there's other stuff we got to talk about. The stadium lacks a regulation-sized soccer field due to its narrow width, which has been criticized by FIFA officials. To satisfy FIFA requirements, several field-level seats would be removed and the turf surface replaced by grass. So they're pulling out.
See, that's more dangerous, because you patching up the pitch on the edges, and that's not a good idea, man. But anyway, it's not my. I don't have a. I mean, I do have a war on the matter, but it's not gonna matter. My word.
Peru ain't playing there, so you ain't got nothing to talk about. So you'll be watching. You'll be concerned. This will be Nino. You'll be watching those games in LA. You'll be going. But yeah, it's supposed to be tighter, and so they pulled seats out to make it regulation down on the field level. So we'll see what this looks like with the seats out on the field level at SoFi. Okay, the reigning champions comma, their injuries, comma, their hopes, comma, and their numbers. Please explain yourself, sir.
Yes, sir. You know, I've been following Argentina, as you may know. This is Argentina is my second candidate to win this thing, right?
Number one.
But they got several injuries, Johnny. They're not critical. They're not, season-ending injuries. They are training, but they're recovering, right? I know the Argentina media is just trying to soften the vision of is Paredes going to play? Is Nico Paz going to play? What's the thing with Diego Martinez? Diego Martinez says, I'm going to be playing because he has, what's this, on the third finger or the fourth finger, this one here?
The ring
when you put the ring on it,
on
the other side. Yeah,
ring finger.
He has, I forgot what's the technical term for the injury, but he's, that finger is damaged, right? And they're looking at it, they're babying his hand, and but he said he's gonna be ready for it. But be careful because
this is what you do. This is what you do to that ring.
Yeah, but
wrap it up, splint it, and go. Emmy's not gonna care.
Yeah, but when you got 100 miles an hour ball, soccer balls coming to you, and you stop it, it's gonna be all right. Well, that's really right. Messi, you know that when he picked up that injury was the last game of the MLS that he played, right?
Yeah,
I think he walked away. A pinch on his hamstring. You got Montiel, you got Leo Paredes, you got Nico Paz. So that right there is five players that they're not 100% ready,
right,
for their debut in the World Cup. Not 100% ready, right? This is why Scaloni has, the list is 26 players, the roster, right? But he has a 35 player list. And he already notified these 9 players, don't go on vacation, don't go anywhere, stay at home, because if I'm going to need you, I'm going to call you. I need to be ready to pack your bags, take the flight, and get your ass here, okay? So there are 9 players that they're just like waiting, watching on TV, watching his Sports Center every day, every morning. And so he has those guys in there, right? For the how far will they get? That's the question here, right? How far will Argentina get? France already destroyed the theory. It was not a theory. It was what's the name for? Forgot the thing when we the curse of the first round champions exiting the competition in the first round. France destroyed that the last time around in 2022. They got in, they go all the way, and they'll probably go all the way. I'm going to say France, Argentina, Portugal, and the fourth one is the one that I'm debating, Spain. Yeah, there you go. For me, those are the top 4 in the competition. We'll see how there's the atmosphere in Argentina. It's just great. They're confident. Argentines are confident, but there's the vibe that you can get from this team, from the players, from the coach. Lionel Scaloni was in I don't know how many advertisements I've seen him, and so many ads out there, man, with the beers and the mate, and it's a different vibe. It's the reigning champions vibe. And then they're ready to take on the challenge. But let me tell you something. Once the competition starts, all this noise that you've seen, all it's gonna be going away. This guy is gonna give deadly laser focus on the competition since the first minute, because they're going after something that hasn't been done since 1962. Remember that nobody. Since Brazil 1962 has repeated the title. Nobody. And they're going after.
And that's my pick. It is sentimental. I admit it. I am Team Messi. I am not Team CR41. I am Team Messi in all of this. I want to see a repeat. I want to see Lionel Messi go out internationally. I want to see him go out on top. And like that's part of it. But I still think that Argentina and Scaloni, I think that they've got a roster that can, have a staring contest with anybody and come out the other side. So I know that you and I will be debating that for the entire tournament. I know.
Right. And this is talking about the roster. This is the 11 that Argentina put on the pitch and for the last couple of days. You got Rulli on the goal. You got Yai. You got Otamendi, Licha Martinez, Tagliafico, Enzo Fernandez and McAllister, Rodrigo de Paul, Teo Almada, Lautaro, and El Flaco Lopez from Palmeiras on top of the offense for Argentina. Watch out for Lopez, huh? Watch out for Lopez. I'm predicting that he's going to be having a massive World Cup. El Flaco Lopez, a tremendous striker from Palmeiras.
Yes. Uruguay, Muslera, and a softer version of Bielsa. I don't think that exists, but go ahead and talk.
There's a beautiful story with Fernando Muslera, right? He is about to become the oldest player to ever play in the World Cup for Uruguay.
Okay.
39 years old, just hours shy of his 40th birthday, because he's gonna turn 40 on June 16, and they're gonna make Uruguay is gonna make their debut in June 15. Okay. And I'm saying the dates because Muslera was born on June 16th of 1986.
Okay.
Right? You know what happened that day?
No. What happened?
Argentina beat Uruguay in the second round of the competition. Pedro Pablo Pasculi with a 1-0 goal to ousted Uruguay from the World Cup.
Look at you.
In 1986. And Fernando Muslera was born in Buenos Aires, actually. Right? But a couple of years later, the parents moved to cross the river and went to Montevideo. He's been living in Uruguay ever since. This is Fernando Muslera, who, by the way, has had a massive season with Estudiantes. He probably will have the age of El Chino Rochet, who hasn't have a decent season in Brazil with Internacional. So I'm gonna say that he's gonna be playing that game, and he's gonna break the record as not only as the oldest player for Uruguay, but the player with the most international caps in a World Cup for Uruguay with 135. 135 caps for Uruguay, but not in the World Cup. I mean,
yeah,
with most games in the World Cup too.
And I thought you were going to tell me he's 135 years old.
No way. But there's one thing about Uruguay. I don't know. This is the first World Cup without Suarez and Cavani, and the strikers, man. Those strikers, they don't have power, man. They don't have the power of the status or the level. I don't know, Uruguay. Don't know. But and on top of that, you got Jordan Rascaeta that got injured and he's out of the competition. So it's a big blow for Uruguay. So what I was saying, this is Uruguay has many other weapons that they can score. You know, you got Rodrigo Salazar, you got Maxi Araújo, you got Fede Valverde, you got weapons, and shooters from the outside. You're gonna say I'm predicting that Uruguay is gonna be scoring more goals from the outside than from the inside of the 18. That's my prediction on Uruguay. And talking about Marcelo Bielsa and his software version, the guy was in an ad. He was, there's a commercial for the Uruguay team leaving the country for the World Cup, and Marcelo Bielsa was part of it with his hoodie on it, riding a bike. And he turns around and says, "Hey, trust us," or something. And then I saw him in a press conference explaining, the guy's a geek, an absolute soccer junkie.
Yep.
All right. And he pulled up the chart. Just to get an idea, right? We all know about the Spygate and all that, right? But the guy, besides that, he went overboard in that time. But on this matter, he pulled up a chart of the last 10 games of France and their formations, right? How many times they use each formation? And it was 60% one formation, 40% the other one, and 20% the other ones. And there were 3 more that he said, you know what? We're not going to even look to those numbers because it don't matter. How many times they use it? 0.5%, 3.5%, and 1% the other one. We're not looking at those. We're going to focus on the 60%, 40%, and 30%.
Wow.
Those are the numbers that we're looking at and the formations on the opponents. Just to give you an idea, the detail-oriented psycho that he is, man. Right? But he, of course, was just talking like a grandpa, explaining all these numbers, all the stats, like that. But I think it's just a perception. Probably it's not right. But I think he softened a little bit his view because, I don't know. He knows that when you go too hard, things break,
True,
break
yeah.
apart. And he's famous for breaking teams apart because of his intensity. And we'll see if he softens his hand and why don't break down and for going 150 miles an hour in the first 3 rounds of the competition, 3 games of the competition.
Yeah, well, you mentioned De Arrascaeta, grade 2 calf injury, confirmed he's going to stay with the squad.
Oh, he's staying.
Well, but he's expected to miss, as you said, all 3 group stage matches: Saudi Arabia, Cabo Verde, and Miami, before going to play Spain and Guadalajara on the 26th. So
they're going to use him for that game in Mexico. He's I don't know why he's going to do it, but he's going to be there.
Give him a cup of coffee.
But the calf it's a pain, man. The calf is a pain. I just had that injury like a month ago in my right calf. You feel like you got stabbed with a knife in your calf, man. That's what you feel.
Yes,
it's insane, man.
Yes, that is absolutely true. So you've said who you want to win the cup.
Yeah.
Joaquim Clement has his answer on who is winning the cup. Please explain who Joaquim Clement is and why he's important.
Joaquim Clement is a mathematician from Germany who, by the way, predicted correctly the last 3 champions. He predicted that Germany was going to win in 2014. He predicted France to win in 2018. And he predicted Argentina to win in 2022. Who is his candidate, his mathematician candidate? According to all odds or all the numbers, crunching the numbers, the stats, whatever, the Netherlands. The Netherlands going after the first ever World Cup. Yeah. I don't know. But the thing is, you know what happens when we get blind when we see fantastic teams coming into World Cup. I can tell you 4 teams that were better than this edition of the Orange. 1998 one was a massive team. 2010 one. And of course, the 2 other ones that lost their finals. So they lost 3 finals. So how do you go about after strike 3? You're gonna have another turnout batter in here? Seems like it. Seems like it. So probably, you know what? That last strike didn't count, because of that tackle to Xabi Alonso. My God, that tackle was just, it was a murder attempt. It was a murder attempt, that one. But anyway. I don't think he's gonna be right this time. I loved it. I loved Holland. I'm saying Holland. I'm not saying the Netherlands. Screw the Netherlands, man. I'm not saying Holland. It's Holland. It's Holland. Period. We got too many different names now. You got Czechia, man, it's insane. Drive me crazy. All these European teams with different names and stuff. But anyway, that's the Orange. That's the candidate from Mr. Joaquim Clement.
Yes, mathematician, freaking mathematician. Coaches, first timers, outsiders. Who has the edge?
This is the thing, right? Technically, Lionel Scaloni, he's not a first timer, but why I'm putting here as a first timer? Because this is the first time. This is the first time since 1990 that Argentina repeats a coach. First time. The last time they did it, Bilardo won in 86, and Bilardo went all the way to the finals in 1990. Since then, 7 different coaches, 2 finals, 1 victory, and they're going after this one. I totally see Argentina going all the way, man. You too. You too. When I say that's why I said the first timer, right? But it's the first time that they use him twice. It's
first
time
through a complete cycle. So he was a coach, and then he has a complete cycle, and he's still the coach. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yes. And I totally see that happening. We'll see. I love Scaloni. I love the way he treats the group and how he blends in the old school with the new school. It's just he's doing great things with Argentina. Now, the outsider, right? We all know he's the most famous outsider that could ever be in a World Cup. That's Carlito Ancelotti. Also, the first timer, right? Also first timer because it's the first time that Brazil gets a coach that is not Brazilian. The first non-Brazilian coach for the Seleção. Okay, so he's also kind of that first time. So I put first time as an outside. You see how I go for that. And there's Brazil never won a World Cup with an outsider. Never, they never won a World Cup with an outsider coach. And the odds are also not going well for Carlito Ancelotti because the best paid coach never won the World Cup. And Carlito Ancelotti is the best paid coach on this tournament with 10 mil. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in there. Hopefully, I don't know. You know, those are the odds. This is the history. You know. So yeah, that's that. That's that, brother.
Okay. You mentioned what's going on with Argentina. One football this morning. Open door training session. Scaloni for the friendly against Honduras. Tactical changes and new faces. Once again, you were talking about the injuries. So he kept the backbone intact at the open practice, but adjusted pieces at right back and up front. So battle at right back. Agustin Giai wore the purple bib with the starters, replacing Capaldo. With both Molina and Montiel unavailable, the spot for the weekend is now a contest between Giai and Capaldo. So that's for this weekend. Jose Manuel Lopez comes into the attack in place of Simeone. Scaloni opted for an unusual combination in his setups by fielding Flaco Lopez alongside Lautaro Martinez at the same time. Then in the midfield, system shifts to a 4-4-2. Rodrigo De Paul out to the right. Thiago Almada lines up as a left midfielder. Enzo Fernandez and Alexis were your double pivot in the middle. So that's how it was looking at practice, getting ready for Saturday. And so Rulli, Giai, Otamendi, Lisandro Martinez, Tagliafico, Rodrigo, Enzo, Alexis, Almada, Lautaro, and Lopez. That was what it was looking like.
That's the 11 that I gave you. Yeah.
Man, 4-4-2. All right. So your last World Cup thing before we get into Universitario bringing sexy back. See, now you got to figure out how to do that in a song. I'm bringing Universitario back.
You can shorten it. We can say the U is bringing sexy back.
There you go. Oh, here it is. You bring in sexy back. That's
there you go. You bringing sexy back. Oh my God. Yeah.
Bookmark that one. World Cup Chronicles. Johan Cruyff behind the enemy lines, and I imagine there was a cigarette involved.
Not really. There's no cigarette in there. No. But he was smoking, right? He used to smoke. That guy. He used to smoke, man. This crazy guy, man. And anyway, so 1974. 1974, the first World Cup for the for the Orange reaching the finals. But before the tournament started, the Orange, which also called for the national team, that's what they call them, the Orange, got a deal with Adidas, right? With Adidas, Adidas is gonna dress you up, guys. Gonna got all the jerseys and all that, all the stuff for you guys. But Johan Cruyff had a contract with Puma. All right, so he was like, "Guys, I'm not wearing that." what you're not wearing this? Is the national team, brother. You gotta play for this. Well, if you want me to use your Adidas team, you gotta pay me a wild gazillion amount of money for to play with the stripes. Otherwise, I'm not playing. I'm not going.
Wow.
But you just won 3 Champions League in a row, brother. We need you. We need you, the best player in Europe for the past 4 years. We can need you. I know you need me. So figure it out. So this is what they did. This is what they did, Johnny. You gotta look at pull up the picture of Johan Cruyff from 1974. Whatever picture you want to pick.
Johan Cruyff, 1974. Okay.
Stripes.
Okay.
So Adidas had the 3 stripes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how are we gonna do this? All right, let's take 1 stripe off. The number 14 jersey. And the only jersey in the entire roster with 2 stripes was the one that Johan Cruyff was using.
Okay. All right. Okay, because I see the group stage stuff, and I see stuff down the sleeves, and he's got the 2 down the. Okay, now
2 lines instead of 3 lines.
2.
And never. This is the first. I mean, I'm a World Cup junkie, and this is the first time I'm hearing this history, man.
Wow, that is
the
crazy.
first time I'm hearing this story. It's just wild, man. But that's a power, star power.
Wow,
star power. That's kind of like the same. Not the same, but very similar. What Michael Jordan did in the Olympics. Remember? When he covered, but he was protesting actually, right? So all right, you know what? I want to put the flag over, so you're not gonna see the Nike sign, but so he was also clever that, but yeah. Clever solutions for critical times, man.
You're saving your Scully and everything is in one piece. But yeah, so if you go and you do images, if you do Johan Cruyff 1974 and hit images, there's one on Reddit where literally it's a profile shot, and you just see he's wearing the captain's armband, and you see the 2 stripes, the 2 black stripes on the one side, and I'm like, damn. Man, that's deep. That is some deep stuff. Okay. Now to topic last. You bring in sexy back.
Woo!
All right. So
we're trying. They're trying hard.
Yourself, sir.
All right, guys. So my beloved team, Universitario, who went into a disastrous first half of the year. Getting signings out of the Mongolia, getting a coach. getting a coach, he couldn't even. He speaks Spanish. He was lost in translation with the team.
Mongolian Premier League, Ulaanbaatar FC, bringing in.
Something like that. So we went old school this time, right? They fired the coach, they fired the technical director, and now we focus on bringing 2 guys. 2 guys that it's done. I know it's Friday, right? On Friday there is just going to be a official press release about the new signings for Universitario. But most likely we'll get back a guy that you may know. Maybe Nico Moreno may know about this Peruvian guy, shorty 5'6", who played with Nico Lodeiro, who won the Champions League, the CONCACAF with Seattle Sounders. A guy that in Seattle, maybe he's sort of a legend, right? Raul Ruiz.
Wow.
Raul Ruiz is just inches away from signing back to Universitario de Porto. And after he was a disastrous negotiation back in December.
Yeah.
he ended up being so mad that he ended up signing for Atlético Grau. It's a small team in the north side of the country here. And but there was on his contract though there was one release clause, one small caveat, right? I will only leave this team if Universitario calls me. If Universitario calls me, I'm walking away. That's the only caveat on his contract. But of course, they gotta pay a fee, right? It's 150K. But yeah, Universitario reported, yeah, they will pay 150K for bringing back Raul. And the other guy is Piero Quispe, who went to Pumas, didn't do good in Pumas. Then he went to Australia, man.
Okay.
To bring in Australia, Jesus Lord, in the Sydney FC. My God, man, just playing with kangaroos and stuff. I don't know, man.
Well, just look, just don't try to go around the kangaroo because you know he's going to 2-foot you. I mean, that's how it's always
I know, man. It's scary, man. Scary. I don't want to. I'm brother. If I see a kangaroo, it's got to be a big net, man, in front, because I'm not getting into the same spot with those guys, man. But anyway, so being those two, we got it was a massive clean up the house in Universitario. 6 players left the roster. 6. Wow. 4 of those 6 were signed and back in December. 4 of the 6 were signed back in December. Oh my God. Maybe we got it wrong, right? Maybe we could. Yeah, you screw up big time, man. Screw up big time, man.
Yes.
And so yeah, we're putting things together. We're trying. We'll see. You know, the best thing that could happen for us is the World Cup, because now the new coach Hector Cooper will have the time to to put the pieces together, do a preseason correctly, and hopefully we'll get back for the Clausura in August. I think it's August.
You got to get through July and the cup that the world is chasing, and then that means I'd probably say late July, early August. Yeah, so I think you're spot on. What are you doing in this last week before we start talking about World Cup stuff like hardcore? What are you doing,
brother? I'm setting up this World Cup. It's gotta be massive for Nino Baker, because I just prepped. This is what I did, brother. I know. In Peru, the soccer culture is different when we watch games.
Yeah.
We're not much of a bar goers like in the States, right? We are homies, right? Hey, where are you going? I'm going to Pedro's house. All right, everybody goes to Pedro's house. You know, 2 houses. Everybody's in their house. Everybody's ordering things. So I was like, all right, got 3 sets of appetizers for these soccer guys. So Nino the Baker will send in appetizers during the World Cup. And brother, you gotta try me, because I'm a badass. I'm just not. I just not bake. I just not bake, man. I am a best cook. So I'm gonna show you, man. I'm gonna show you those boxes with the appetizers. You know, you got my barbecue style, my way of wings with the Peruvian blends in there. Oh my God, I'm so sick.
You're an evil SOB. You know that. You are flat out evil.
Right now, I'm telling you, man. When I go to visit you guys, I'm gonna cook for you and for all of you. I guess the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. They're gonna be the freaking awesome appetizers, the entrees, the desserts, everything. We're gonna have a party over there in Atlanta.
It's gonna be the Nino Asada. That's what.
Yeah. You got it.
God, we've got to get stuff up here for the final. God, we got to think about that now. Yeah. So follow Nino the Baker on Instagram. We got to figure out how we're getting stuff from you up here for the final. We've got to do something. We have to do something.
We'll figure it out.
We've got to get it. So if we start thinking about it now, we can figure out flights and then figure out how it gets from there to Orlando in time for the final, like the final. And then that way we have the Nino the Baker experience for the final. So we got to figure this out. And we got to figure out the Orlando part and start thinking about it now before, because if we're going to do this for the final, we got to figure out what can travel, We've got to figure out how it can travel. Obviously, your buddy, the pilot, can keep the contraband.
Yeah, we get all the way to Orlando from here. We got that part.
Right. So we got to get it from Orlando in late July, from Orlando to here, so we can have it for the final. That is going to be my new goal. We've got to get something from you that preserves well. And it might.
I think chocolate cake is the best one. The best one to travel. It's the best one.
So if we get a couple of the chocolate cakes in a cooler with your buddy the pilot, and can get it from there to Orlando and figure out the Orlando part on Wednesday. No, I'm not. But
I love this, man.
But I'm serious. Like I said, this is my Adam's ribs from MASH, man. This is what this is. So, all right. So, God, this is driving me crazy. This is where I keep my calendar, by the way. Well, but the thing is, because when you plan something that's this big, you've got to have. All right. So here's everything that we're doing in June.
Nice.
That's June. That is like remotes, morning shows, and the whole thing. So, so here's all right. So the final is July 19th.
Hey, Johnny, do you get your phone synced with the cup now?
I don't get my phone's phone.
Look at that. You see? Hold on a second. Can you see it?
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got a spreadsheet. I've got Jason came up with the spreadsheet for all the matches. And and I've got like the FIFA app and everything and all that kind of stuff. But no, I'm like the old dude at the bank when we're growing up. I've got to have it written down or I forget it.
Yeah.
So this is
man.
This is the target right here. So July 19.
Yeah.
Let's work backwards. So if it's going to be here for the final, then does that mean it's flying up the 18th? Is that how this works? Or is it flying
hold on a second, because usually it's Thursdays. I think he flies on Thursday. What day is that?
16th.
Hold on a second.
So if he flies up the 16th of July, if he flies up the 16th, so if he flies up the 16th of July, we've got to figure out how to get it from Orlando to here from the 17th of July. So basically, we've got, so when he lands on the 16th, we've got to figure out, okay, then the 17th would be the travel day to come back to Atlanta. So this is arriving the 16th in Orlando, and then driving it back, or however we're getting it back on the 17th on that Friday. So that
I think I got somebody in Orlando who can, receive the cake in there and get it in the fridge, and then I got somebody in Orlando.
Knowing me, what I'm probably going to do, since I'm that freaking insane, is I will probably try and fly down to Orlando myself. And then that way, literally, and I don't know if your friend flies commercial and goes into MCO or not, or if he is
he flies commercial, yeah.
Okay, so if he flies commercial into MCO, I would probably fly down on the 16th and then do the show remotely on the morning of the 17th and fly back with the stuff. So that would probably be how we do this. Okay.
All right.
If we work on a cooler or frozen stuff for the 16th arriving here at MCO on the 16th of July, then I would figure out how to get home on the 17th, and we hang on to it for the final on the 19th, and we have the unveiling there. So does that sound like a plan for you?
It sounds like a plan, yeah.
Okay. So all right. So that's what we'll work on. So whatever you need to do to put Nino the Baker goods in a cooler that leaves from Lima and comes to Orlando on the 16th of July.
Okay.
And then we'll figure, like I said, knowing me, I'll probably fly down to Orlando because I got miles and I can do it. So fly down on the 16th, pick up the goods, fly home after I do the show on the 17th, and then we have it here for the party on the final on the 19th. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds good. Sounds good to me, brother.
Oh, damn. I'm looking forward to this. Okay. So starting next week, it's going to be talking about World Cup and World Cup all the time. I love you very much. and I'm glad that we get to catch up the way that we do. All right. So, and this is David. I don't know if you've been looking at the Twitch pitch or not this morning.
No. But who's David? No.
But one of our Twitch pitchers, one of our A-listers, David, he said, you two together and the vibe is amazing. How many times have you actually hung out in person? And then I told him,
0.
I said, never, because you went back home after you spent your time with crew. And so that's where we are. And so this is very humbling that David would say this. He says, I mean, we hang out every week. And he says, it's amazing you two aren't longtime buddies hanging out. We're great. We can't wait for and so David now wants the movie version of getting the gear. Well, but you know what?
We can
the way that social media works these days with Nino and Nino the Baker on the IG, he can sit there and he can do all of that stuff, get it to the airport, have his buddy do his part on the takeoff and everything. So Nino can do that part to get it on the plane. And then, then whoever gets it, probably me, is there at MCO for the handoff. And then I can take the Nino the Baker goods. And I could go to the hotel.
I can do my body could get a few shots on in the cabin, right? In the cabin. This thing.
You got the cabin. You sit there,
that's gonna be amazing.
You look down, you sit there, and you see the cooler. No, that's easy. It's a social media thing. So that's what we'll do. Confirm that your buddy's flying up on the 16th or whatever, that Thursday before the World Cup.
I want to check with him right now.
Pack the cooler with Nino the Baker goods. Then we'll get it to Orlando. That's the easy part. Like I said, I'll probably fly down on the 16th because I got miles to do it. I'll meet him in MCO. We'll do the handoff. I will grab it. Then I'll do the show from a hotel room on Friday, fly home that Friday, and we'll have Nino the Baker goods for the final on the 19th. So that's the plan. Let me know if this changes between now and then.
Yeah.
And then we'll roll from there.
All right. Sounds good. It sounds like a fantastic plan, man.
Oh, I'm so jacked up. All right. So when you come back next week, obviously we're going to talk about World Cup. It'll be match day 1. We'll get all serious and talk about things. Love you very much, my friend. Catch your breath. It's going to be a great run coming up over the next 7 weeks.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Oh, boy. All right. So now that's the game plan. We got it figured out. That's the game plan. So we have referenced and cross-referenced the calendar. If we can confirm Nino's pilot buddy comes in on Thursdays to MCO, that's the 3-letter abbreviation for the Orlando airport, which is in the bogs and the swamps, and you're hopscotching, and you're like a frog going from lily pad to lily pad, going from concourse to concourse. So that's the plan. We're going to get the Nino the Baker goods, pack them in a cooler, might be dry ice or something, then goes with his pilot buddy from Lima to Orlando on the 16th of July. We go and get it. Then the 17th, I do the show from Orlando, and then we end up bringing it back Friday morning or afternoon after the show. So it's probably Friday afternoon. Bring the cooler, and shoot, I might have to just drive a car considering the size of the cooler. So I don't know. I don't know how airlines are going to like having a cooler that might be taped or whatever, all to hell, and then you have TSA crack it open and everything and sit there and go, ooh, what's this? I might have to just rent a damn car. Because if I'm packing a cooler, I don't want TSA to open that thing. Because TSA would open it, and they'd sit there and go, ooh, hey, look at that. What's this? And then sit there and they poke and prod at it or whatever. No, I think probably what I'm going to do is, since I don't have a pilot buddy, I might fly down and drive back. Because of the size of the cooler, it might be done that way so it's not TSA'd and cracked open and they mess with the dry ice and the baked goods and everything. This might have to be driven back. So let's try that. That as I'm sitting here and I'm trying to hash out this plan, and I'm trying to minimize the opening of the cooler. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Nino's pilot buddy, that's the easy part because he's in charge of the plane. He knows what goes on it. All that's cool. I don't want TSA, when it lands, short of when it lands, and obviously you've got to sit there and TSA opens it, but his pilot buddy's going to be there when it opens. When they sit there, hey, this came in from Peru. What's this? Oh, it's chocolate cake, whatever. And then they're going to have to open it that one time and sit there and verify that, yes, it is in fact chocolate cake or whatever Nino packs into it. I don't want it opened every single step of the way without it being supervised. So what I'm going to probably do, fly down and drive it back. That is how serious we are about this. I'm not messing around. This is literally the Adam's Rib episode from MASH. Look it up. It's on YouTube. Hawkeye wanted Adam's Ribs from Chicago. And what he did to get it is that whole episode. We're doing the same thing with Nino the Baker Goods. So, I mean, it could be one of those long coolers, that's like maybe, 4 feet long or whatever. And it could be one of those long coolers where it's got a bunch of stuff and packed to hell to dry ice. But I don't want it opened any more than it absolutely has to be. The supervisory part, when it comes from Lima to MCO, because his buddy's a pilot, he can watch. Because I imagine it's going to get cracked open. What's this, all this tape here? It's chocolate cake. Oh, we got to look at this, So I imagine that's what's going to happen. It's going to get cracked open that one time when he tries to bring it in and it lands in Orlando at MCO. Then we'll have to retape it and whatever, and I might have to buy some more dry ice when I meet the cooler and his buddy, the pilot, at MCO. So I think that's what we're going to have to do here, because I don't want that thing opened like more than once, because if I got on a plane, it's going to be checked again. TSA is going to crack it open again, and they're going to sit there and go, what's this? And you sit there and you go, oh, chocolate cake. They sit there and they open it up. Well, what's in? They're messing with the packing. They're messing with the aluminum foil. They're messing with all the stuff that's trying to keep it pristine. And if we can minimize the poking around, that probably means I'm flying down and driving back. So, I think that's what we're going to have to do to minimize the monkeying around with it. So I think that's where we are. All right. So that is I think that's the update. And I still don't know why the font didn't change, because literally I'm looking at my name and it is me. And it says edit name and title. And it's got me and it's got my avatar in the settings, but it didn't give it to me here. And so for the entire show, I've been Jason. And, and I know that Jason is probably going to be looking at this and he's going to be going, why didn't you change it? And I'm going to sit there and go, but I tried to. I tried to for the entire time and it wouldn't give it to me. So maybe when I log out and log back in, it probably will give it to me then. Okay, so that's the rundown of what we think we're going to be able to do, or what we should do. Flying from Lima, the 16th of July. Pilot brings it in to MCO. The handoff occurs there. We take the picture of everything inside MCO itself. I hang on to the cooler, bring it back Friday, but I'm not going to do it on a plane. So I've got to clear all of this with Jason and with Maddie and with Jarrett and with Nick, because I'm probably going to fly down after the morning show. So I do the morning show. I fly down to Orlando, meet the pilot. We do the swap, grab the cooler. Cooler goes with me to the hotel. Do the morning show Friday from Orlando. I show you the cooler. The second the show's over and everything's fed, come home. So I think that's the plan. That's the plan. All right. Let's get you into a couple of other things before we go. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, and your AST Rewind. Let's get into AST Rewind here. And so last night, and it's also ties to what happened on soccerdownhere.net. Jason wrote a really cool piece about how it took 32 years for something to happen for the city of Atlanta. And now that Atlanta is what it is when it comes to the World Cup, you go from being in consideration for the 94 to having 8 dates in the 2026. So here's your AST rewind from last night. Jason discussing 1994 in Atlanta.
Georgia Tech was your only site because a World Cup goes on during the summer, except when it's in Qatar. And Atlanta Fulton County Stadium at that time was the home of the Braves. There wasn't really the exact knowledge of what the Olympic Stadium, which later became Turner Field and is now Center Parc Stadium for Georgia State. There wasn't really the understanding of what that would look like in 1988 when it was going to be constructed for 96. So that wasn't really a real concern, a real conversation. The only other place was what was then Grant Field, which is now Bobby Dodd Stadium. Well, it was kind of at that point, and it's an old stadium, and we know this, and they've done a lot of work to it, and it's a great place to go see a game now. Firsthand, we saw that with Atlanta United. But in 1988, in 89, 90, 91, as Atlanta's bid started to get a little bit of momentum because Atlanta had gotten the Olympics in 1990, and everybody's talking about this like, hey, maybe the World Cup needs to be in Atlanta. And then you went to see the stadium. And this is not a knock on Georgia Tech at all. This was what college football stadiums looked like at this time. It was the old school kind of, I don't know if it was technically AstroTurf or not, but it was an old school artificial surface, which is not great. It had a big crown in the middle, which was typical for stadiums at that time. That wasn't ideal for soccer. You were going to have to remove that. I think the stands were even closer. There wasn't as much room on the field. Like, I don't know how they would have got the field wide enough for a World Cup. You would have had to tear out sections of the stands, which wouldn't have happened. And ultimately, these are the reasons why Georgia Tech and Bobby Dodd Stadium, at that time Grant Field, was not seen favorably by FIFA. And there wasn't another solution. There was nowhere else to do it. So FIFA didn't really like the venue, and ultimately Atlanta did not get picked.
That was part of Atlanta Soccer Tonight from last night. Go to soccerdownhere.net, read the full piece. And it was a great deep dive by Jason breaking down everything when it came to the bid and when it came to what happened in 89 through 94, 88 through 94, and then leading up to 2026. So the piece is right there. It's a great deep dive at soccerdownhere.net. Now, reminding you about tonight. It is 10 o'clock for Atlanta Soccer Tonight. And it is starting there. Hour number 1, once again, 92.9 The Game, Odyssey app. And it's going to be over the air from 10 to 11. At 11, as it had been since 10 o'clock, 92.9 The Game YouTube channel is broadcasting everything nightside that Jason's going to be doing live. Whenever it starts for the 2 hours when he's done, or if he goes longer than 2 hours, so be it. So 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, 92.9 The Game, Odyssey app, over the air. 92.9 The Game YouTube channel. 11 o'clock, everything drops and spins over to the YouTube channel for 11 until whenever. So three-dimensional experience this year. Tonight starts at 10 o'clock. A lot of match action. A lot of USMNT training stuff. Jason's down there now, and he's assembling sound. Then Noel White's going to join for an intersection-style crossover. So that'll get you ready for the first, for this weekend's send-offs. Starts tonight, 10 o'clock, 92.9 The Game, Odyssey app, 92.9 The Game YouTube channel. So tomorrow, we'll see if we can catch up with our friends from Beyond Goals. Apple TV, I believe we're catching up with folks. And it looks like Nico Moreno is going to be joining us at 10:30 to break down everything that we were going to be breaking down today. But we got, he's got to attend to a family matter with his daughter, nothing serious. He just had to take care of that. And so he'll be in tomorrow at 10:30 to break everything down. So it'll be Thursdays with Nico on a Friday. So that's tomorrow. All right. Before we get out of here, let's see if there's anything else. We got to do our UPSL update and let you know what's going on there, courtesy of our friends at ASMG TV. And it is an opportunity for us to let you know what is going on these days with their broadcast schedule. And so this is this week on ASMG. and our relationship that we have with them, and making sure that the UPSL is going to be one of those places where you can see the next level of talent, the next levels of talent here in the state of Georgia going forward. Okay, so no, not that one. Did not want that one. So it is. I'll give you the grid that is here this week for ASMG TV. And there you go. It is. They were at Pachuca and LSA Mustangs. That was last night. Coming up this weekend, it is a triple header. You have three matches that you can lock into. At Tiger Stadium at 6 o'clock. At Shiloh Stadium, it's Kalanji Pro Profile at 7. And then Tiger Stadium, once again, the double header is taking place. So it's 6 and 8:30 at Tiger Stadium on ASMG TV. 7 o'clock Kalanji Pro Profile on the 7th on Sunday. So a busy Sunday night in the UPSL and the UPSL Southeast. And it's a Sunday doubleheader in the UPSL Midwest Women's and Premier Division. So keep an eye on all that. UPSL Southeast at Kalanji Pro Profile at Shiloh High School. That one's at 7 o'clock. And then it is the Midwest and West Women's Premier Division. That one is, once again, at, as I sit here and I'm looking at, I'm trying to look at logos and things. But anyway, it's big action going on. UPSL Midwest and West Women's and Premier, 6 and 8:30. And it is Kalanji Pro Profile locally here at 7 o'clock on Sunday night here on the SDH Network, once again brought to us by our friends at ASMG and ASMG TV. So standings in the UPSL Southeast, just to give you an idea of where things are when it comes to, and we're getting close to the end of the regular season in the UPSL, and you're chasing after things in the spring schedule. So we'll get you into the Georgia divisions. There's 3 Florida divisions. Georgia North right now. Chattanooga Red Wolves 2. They are on a roll. Through 9 match days, they have yet to draw a match. They're 7-2. They are at 21 points, and they're ahead of LSA Mustangs by 1 point right now. Scenic City is 10 matches done. They're at 17. Georgia Impact also at 17, but they've got a match in hand. They've only given up 8 goals on the men's side so far this year. Potros is at 10. They're ahead of FC Birmingham, Pachuca, Georgia Soccer Saves Lives, and Atlanta Fire United. In Georgia South, Kalanji Pro Profile. Took a while for them to catch up when it came to match weeks, but now they're 9 match weeks in, and they still well ahead of everyone else, 9-0. They've only given up 4 goals all season. Goal difference of plus 38, 42 scored, 4 allowed, 8 points ahead of Georgia Revs. FC Columbus Elite is at 16 points. Augusta Arsenal, home of JT Batson in his in a previous incarnation, 14. Then it's at UMA at 12, Red Top Soccer at 10, UFA Lawrenceville's at 9, Angeles is at 8, and LSA Norcross Pro is 1 win so far this season in Georgia South. So once again, you go to UPSL or premier.upsl.com and get your standings and take a peek at what's going on in the men's division right now in UPSL. In the WPSL, just to give you the update there, everything is just getting underway, really, when it comes to the divisions and division play and all that. So last week, it was another opportunity for Drew Dickinson and I. It was a surprising result for Decatur FC. And so now they are having to really put the pedal down for the remainder of the season. It was a 2-0 lead for them, and it ends up being a 2-2 draw by the end of it. Georgia Impact, first 2 matches of the season. Once again, they're 2-0. They get Chattanooga FC next. Then Chattanooga FC, they are second in the table, 4 points. Tennessee Tempo, 1-1-1 after 3. Nashville Rhythm, they are at 4 points. Decatur FC, once again, they are at 1. Nashville Rhythm's at 3 points. Decatur FC and UFA Gunners, after the draw last week, both at 1.865. Alliance and Atlanta Fire United are chasing after their first wins of the year. Decatur FC, once again, Drew Dickinson and I will be on site For the matchup against Nashville Rhythm, that one is on Saturday night, 6 o'clock. And you can be there in person at Decatur High School, or you can go to WPSL.tv and you can catch Decatur FC and Nashville Rhythm. That one, once again, is Saturday night, 6 o'clock, where you consume your WPSL action. All right. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. We've got the next round of friendlies kicking off at noon Eastern time, and we'll give you juice boxes for the ones that we have coming up here in just a bit. It is today. It is friendlies kicking off at 1 o'clock. Andorra and Liechtenstein. I should have worn my Andorran jersey today. Andorra, Liechtenstein at 1. France and Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire at 3:10. 10 o'clock tonight, Mexico and Serbia is being tri-casted by Fox Deportes, TUDN, and Univision. The other World Cup tune-ups today, and there are plenty of them. It is, if I can scroll down. So Mexico and Serbia is at Toluca. Then Spain and Iraq is at Deportivo La Coruña Stadium. Sweden and Greece is in Stockholm. France and Ivory Coast is in Nantes. Guatemala and Czechia, 8 o'clock tonight in Harrison, New Jersey, is a part of that whole kickoff. That is going to include the 2 Argentina matches, one at Kyle Field at 8 o'clock on Saturday night, and then the other one Tuesday at 8:30 with Argentina and Iceland at Jordan Hare at Auburn. And so we'll be there covering that one. I'll be there Tuesday night covering that one, be in a hotel room on Wednesday from Auburn, and let you know what happened. Right now, 82,000 tickets have been sold for that one, and only 5,000 tickets remain for Argentina and Iceland at Jordan Hare on next Tuesday. And what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, brought to us by our friends at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. And that link is important for them because it helps you out, helps us out, helps them out. Once again, to all of your streaming experiences that you have, a lot of the A and B divisions across South America, you do get links to Tigo Sports. You do get links to CATV. You get Copa Argentina and all of the great coverage that TEC does. TEC is in Kansas City, and they are balls to the wall. And it's a fun watch. You also get TVV out of Venezuela if you want to add it, CDO out of Chile if you want to go there, Liga 1 Max Pro out of Peru. With all the BNs, you get all of their league play, Turkish League, French League, and it is Polish League. Then you also get everything going on with AFCON. Right now they have the U17 tournament going on right now. You can watch that. You get AFC Champions League, CAF qualifiers, all of that stuff. That's on Middle East and North America, so Northern Africa. The MENA coverage is there at all the BNs. Once again, at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Now, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and we'll get you out of here. All right. So the Holland thing aside, it is large. Yeah, I mean, you're going to say what you're going to say to get elected. And not the first time, but you sit there and you're going, really? Okay, you're going to go there. Fine. Good deal. Transfer news. And yes, the ludicrous speed that is there with Holland. Real Madrid weighing up an approach for Arsenal's Ricardo Calafiori amid their presidential election, according to Nicolo Schira. Made an inquiry this week. Expected that Jose Mourinho, since he worked with him at Roma, wants to be reunited. Calafiori played a role with the Gunners winning their Premier League title. 22 starts and 26 appearances, contracted through the summer 29. Bayern Munich looking at signing Sergino Dest, according to Eindhoven's Dagblad. Reported to be one of the players on the short list of the Bundesliga champs. Also closing in on a move for his teammate Ismail Saibati. Deal for Dest would reportedly require an offer in the region of 25 million euros. Sport says Barca would be entitled to 20% of any future transfer fee. United interested in signing Aurelien Tchouameni from Real Madrid, according to the Times. ID'd as a midfield reinforcement this summer and could join Ederson after the £35 million deal for the Brazil international agreed to. Tchouameni, who joined Los Blancos for €80 million from Monaco in 22, 33 starts last year, continues to be linked with an exit. PSG leading the race to sign Lokomotiv Moscow, attacking midfielder Alexei Batrakov, according to Team Talk, one of several sides to have scouted the 20-year-old this year. Premier League teams facing difficulty in signing Russian players due to UK sanctions. Looks like they'll miss out. 13-10 and 28 Russian Premier League matches last year. Real Madrid, Chelsea, Dortmund, Newcastle among the teams tracking AIK winger Zadok Johanna, according to the four-letter paper. 2 European giants reportedly among multiple teams lining up to land the 18-year-old, attracted scouts from 32 different clubs during a draw with Kalmar in April, directly contributed to 9 goals in 12 matches, all comps. Any deal expected to require an offer of around £20 million. Spurs have had an opening offer for Jan-Paul van Hecke by Brighton. Brighton value their center back at £60 to £70 million. Chelsea are tracking. Liverpool interested. Manchester City have had their opening bid for Elliot Anderson rejected. City made the 23-year-old their top summer target, formalized their interest with an official offer. Bid has been turned down. City is expected to return with an improved financial package. United agreed on the Ederson deal. We talked about that yesterday. Liverpool agreed to appoint Iraola, expected to be officially confirmed by the end of the week by sporting director Richard Hughes, who appointed him at Bournemouth in 23. Also, Liverpool standing firm amid interest in keeper Alisson from Juve. That's from Gazzetta dello Sport. Sport says United now willing to negotiate a fee for Marcus Rashford with Barcelona, having previously held out for his €30 million permanent option clause to be activated. Also, Everton interested in Gabriel Jesus, Football Insider. Corriere dello Sport. Juve's Dusan Vlahovic set to leave the club when his contract expires in the summer. Manchester City set to sign AC Milan defender Alessandro Longoni on a free, according to Nicolo Schira. Daily Mirror, United have paused contract talks with Bruno Fernandes with confidence he intends to stay. Fabrizio Romano, Barca tracking Juve wingback Andrea Cambiaso, recently linked to Chelsea. Gazzetta, Juve joined the race to sign Leon Goretzka from Bayern as a free agent. Team Talk, Barcelona wingback Rooney Bargi, attracting interest from Leeds, who are exploring a loan move. Ben Jacobs, Atalanta defender Giorgio Scalvini on the radar of Newcastle. Corriere dello Sport, AC Milan won an offer worth €50 million if they're going to part with Rafa Leao. Gazzetta, Juve remain keen on signing PSG's Randall Colomawani, who was on loan at Spurs last year. Football Insider, Newcastle are pushing to part ways with Johan Vissa this summer. Now, checking the 280 and seeing if there's anything that we might have missed with our buddy Ben Jacobs. So let's see if we have, in fact, missed anything with our buddy Ben Jacobs. Let's see. Verbal agreement full is close. Jeremy Monga and Arsenal in the back and forth. Advanced talks taking place with Leicester after Monga picked Arsenal over several other clubs. Ethan Ampadu signed a new 4-year deal to stay at Leeds. Alessio Dionisi set to become Watford's new manager after agreeing to terms. Understand he's bringing 3 staff members with him. That is Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook. Get it signed, get it guaranteed. I give you maybe 8 months. Mentioning the Monga signing, as many as 8 formal inquiries from England and Europe. And so once again, Arsenal leading there. Manchester United confirming Tom Heaton signing a new 1-year deal. And so it is the picture where it is the plastic wire-bound notebook. Manchester United, crest on the front, Tom Heaton going like this. So it's official. Tom Heaton signing another 1-year deal. We mentioned Ethan Ampadu, mentioned Monga. Iraola once again completing formalities today. And so it looks like it's going to be a 2-year deal for Iraola. That's normal. Don't freak out about that. That's what he wants. He wants those shorter-term deals just on premise. So 2-year deal. That's been discussed. It's not anything where it's like one side's freaking out over the other. No, that's just normal. So, and then we got into the Manchester City discussion. Yeah, why not? Sure. Go ahead. Go for it. And then the Elliot Anderson denial. Ibrahima Konate has agreed with Real Madrid, set to join as a free. Al Ittihad has been informed of his decision. And so, Elliot Anderson, Konate, Newcastle have a long-standing interest in Atalanta defender Giorgio Scalvini. No recent contact yet. Scalvini's also on the radar of clubs in Italy and Germany. So there you go. That's your rundown of everything today. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. Once again, we're going to be rolling all over the place. And interesting piece from Austin Karp at the Sports Business Journal. Telemundo is not going to be using hydration breaks to cut to commercial. They're not going to cut away. 3-minute hydration breaks. And so Miguel Lorenzo, Telemundo Enterprises Senior VP of Sports Content, he says, we're going to be staying on the match feed. We're going to watch player and coach interactions, having important match replays. Commentators are analyzing the moments. None of that will be interrupted in any way. On the English language side, according to Carp, no update yet on whether Fox will be cutting to ads or staying with the match. Fox VP of Production Zach Kenworthy at Media Day 2 weeks ago noted Fox remains in contact with FIFA on the matter, hadn't yet made a decision. NBCU has already sold out a key World Cup ad inventory. World Cup has also generated largest deals in media and Spanish language history in the country, not just in sports in general. Do not be surprised if Big FOX goes double box. If they do that, I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's going to be double box. So keep an eye out for that. And great news for our friend Ryan Feigert. He's going to be providing audio descriptive commentary for the FIFA World Cup with Owen Newkirk and Mark Followell. And so they're going to have detailed match commentary catered to blind and low vision fans for the whole tournament there in the venue in Dallas. So Feigert, Newkirk, and Followell. Very, very cool stuff there in Dallas. And it's going to be in each market. So we'll keep an eye on that stuff too as those continue to be announced. All right, back at it again tonight. Atlanta Soccer Tonight with Jason, who's been fonded here for the entire show. I tried to fix it. I don't know what went wrong. So Jason tonight, 10 o'clock, Atlanta Soccer Tonight, stoppage time, 11 o'clock, 92.9 YouTube fired up the entire time, 10 o'clock hour, 92.9 the game in the Odyssey app, 92.9 YouTube the entire time. And then we'll be back at it again 9:05 tomorrow morning, go through the matches that happened today, see if we can catch up with our friends from Beyond Goals, see if we can catch up with our friends at Apple TV. Nico Moreno joining us at 10:30 because he couldn't join us today at 10:30. So there you go. That's the rundown. And thanks for being a part of everything as you always are. For everybody here, to all of you there, tonight, Atlanta Soccer Tonight. Tomorrow, back at it again, 9:05, the last weekend before the World Cup kicks in. Since it is the end of the show, that means one thing. We get to do this. See you in a bit.